Okay, so the bolts are nice and snug, and what you're trying to do is prevent any gap from being between these two parts. When the bolts tighten down, you'll feel a definite stop, and you'll know that the two parts have mated together. Then you just snug up the bolt. There's a torquing sequence, but it really doesn't matter, because once you get this up on the extractor tank, because you resealed this lid onto this column, you're gonna have to pressure check it anyway. So once you bring it up to pressure and you discover there's a leak, you can always just tighten it up then or remount the lid. But you're not gonna have that problem. It's pretty cut and dry. Okay, so the columns attached to the extractor tank again. Put all the lines back on. The lines look a little intimidating, but it's really pretty simple. There's 5 lines. There's this line that sends the solvent through the column of plant material. It goes down in here. And then there's your recovery line, which recovers from the top of this tank and the top of the column, and they join together at this T and then go into the recovery tank where they're being recovered. And then there's this line that goes from here over into the recovery tank as well, because you're going to recover the solvent from your sucker tank. And then there's this line which drains your extract into your sucker tank so that you can access your extract in a safer manner in a tank that's portable that you can pick up and put under a vent hood. And you can separate the last phase of recovery from your extraction process so you can break your system down sooner. And then there's this last line here. And this is a line that's got a siphon tube on it that goes to the bottom of the tank, and it draws the liquid out on this 2-tank system and puts it back into this tank. And all this is automated. So, all you got to do is put the heat on this tank, a mild amount of heat just to create some pressure, and the solvent will move from this tank back over to the tank that it started from, so long as this is a lower temperature than the one that's sending it. So now you're set up and you're ready to pressure check this tank and your column, because those are the 2 tanks that you opened up and accessed your extract and refilled your column. One thing to mention is when you're taking the lines off, if you need to, I just did it so that I could show how they were put back on. But the valves need to be opened back up on the manual valves so that when you start your process with the automation system, it'll be able to run and control itself. So there's 3 or 4 valves that need to be opened up to start the automation process, which is over here. So we want to pressure test. So we go into the pressure test screen, and we can't pressure test this one because it's telling us that it has solvent in it. Apparently you don't need to pressure test that one again because it's already been pressure tested. Nobody's ever opened it up again. But the ones we do want to pressure test are this tank and this tank. So we'll select those tanks and seal them, and then we'll manually put air in them, because we feel that a manual pressure test where you're involved is a safer process. And once those check out, then the automation system can commence.